During a high school class project, my teacher told me it's unrealistic being a CEO. It's been my dream to be a CEO since I was 10. So I told her, it is realistic. Follow me on my journey to learn what it takes to become a CEO. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Realistic CEO podcast. Today I'm here with HighBrow. How are you doing today, Andrew?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for allowing me to interview you today.
Of course, my pleasure.
So the first question I'm going to ask you is, what made you want to become your owner of your own restaurant?
I started cooking in vocational high school when I was about 15 years old. I fell in love with it. It was what I was good at. It was my safe place. It kind of just, as you progress, you become an executive chef, and then, you either stay an executive chef, you open your own restaurant, or you move into like sales of food or like the colleges and the commercial industry like that.
So being able to start like working like in the business like of this industry that you're in right now in high school, what are some experiences that you're able to learn in high school that you're able to implement today?
So I was blessed because like I said, I went to a vocational school. So my major was culinary arts. So I was in the kitchen at age 15. Every other week we would do academics one week, math, science, history, all that stuff, English, and then the next week, all week we would be in a restaurant setting, and we would cook and prep stuff. So I learned my basics, my knife skills, my sauces and things like that when I was in high school. So by the time I graduated high school, I had a head start on the other people that were my age with the things I already learned.
So being able to have the head start, would you say that is what led you to being able to pursue knowing that you can own your own restaurant?
This industry is an interesting industry, so there's a lot of challenges that we deal with. We serve alcohol here, and so there's always challenges that we go through. I think my perseverance through, and also having mentors and coaches to open my eyes and wake me up to the possibilities of what I could be rather than what I was.
So how is having mentors and coaches important to you?
So nobody knows everything. You could be a master at your craft, and it's so important to just still learn and to want to try new things. So you have to realize, like my mentors, and it's usually somebody who's older who doesn't have a vested interest in your professional success is who you want for mentors. You know, so basically, the older people they've been through and they've had more experiences that I've had, so they share their experiences with you, and you may have never experienced that, but then when you do experience, like, oh, I remember this happened to so and so, and this is how they handled it. I'm probably gonna handle it this way, just because you know the outcome of what happened after the way they handled it. So mentors it's great. It's just like teachers.
So how are you able to find a mentor as a young person?
So you have to reach out. You have to awaken within yourself and kind of realize that you want more, and you're willing to work for it. That's that work ethic that comes in. But there's a lot of programs out, just like your father's program, the Lemonade book. You know, you got to reach out. You have to voice it. Nobody's just gonna come and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna mentor you." You have to show what you got.
So what's the best way to voice that you want to have a mentor talent so you're like still sounding respectful in a way?
So I would suggest joining some programs, joining some youth programs, um, getting a job in a field that interests you, and then working as hard as you can. So you have to get noticed. You have to get noticed to get mentored. I think that's really what it is. You have to want to get mentored.
So how are you able to find your own mentors?
I just did what I said. I would get a job as a cook even when I was like 16 years old, and I would excel. I would do the best that I could possibly do, and you move up because you get noticed. So it's literally finding it within yourself to do the best that you can do, no matter what it is, no matter in work, in life. If you try to do the best you can do and be honest about it and good energy, you will be noticed. So you have to make yourself noticed. You have to shine.
So you said that you started working at 16, right?
15.
15? Okay, so you started at 15 at Dunkin' Donuts, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so you started at Dunkin' Donuts, and
Yep.
then you went to your first restaurant as a dishwasher and you moved
You want to
up.
know where that restaurant was? Right down that alleyway right there. You see that brick wall?
Mm-hmm.
It was called La Cazuela. It was a Mexican restaurant. So I started as a dishwasher. And Mexican restaurants, you know, enchiladas. You ever heard of enchiladas?
Yeah.
So if you eat an enchilada at the restaurant on a plate, you know what I'm getting at, that cheese, and you're the dishwasher, the cheese gets all burnt to the plate, so you're scrubbing, so that's that hard work. So I scrubbed that, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore, so I'm going to do it the best that I can do. So I scrubbed it, and then I moved up to pots and pans, which was much easier.
So being able to take your work ethic from something as simple as washing dishes to be able to go into increasing your role because you're able to work hard from, like, even though some people might look at,
Yep.
oh, I'm just doing dishes, how are you able to have a mentality to just be able to just do the dishes as best as possible?
You have to think about you know, I came from very modest roots. I had a single mother on a fixed government assisted income, so I wanted more. You know, I wanted to have things that the other kids, you know, that had a different upbringing had, and that kind of drove me to do it. I wanted new clothes. I wanted things, you know, so I wanted to provide those things, and I just knew there was more to life.
So you said how you went from working a dishwasher to going up and increasing your rankings at other jobs you had to become an executive chef. So, like,
Yeah, well, there's more steps. You skip
Yeah.
from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, you're a dishwasher, and then you move up to prep cooking. And then you move up to the salad guy and the appetizer guy. Then you move up to the grill, or here, the pizza guy, where you're topping the pizzas. Not cooking them, because that's another level up. Topping the pizzas. Then here you move up to cooking the pizzas, or saute. That's how you move it up. So that took me, you know, years. I mean, I was young when I was I was like 21 years old when I was my first salary position as an executive chef. So I mean, I did do it very young, but you know, that could take you know, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. It all depends on you and how you carry yourself and you work.
So what advice would you give your 18-year-old self today?
That's a good one. So I would give, you know, don't pay attention to the distractions. Don't try to be the cool kid in school, because you know, like, you fall victim to yourself. You know, so if I would have been 18, I would have not wanted to be, you know, because when you're trying to impress people, you're being a goofball and you're joking around, and you're taking from yourself. You know, you're robbing yourself of experience and privilege and wealth, because you're busy thinking about drinking or going to parties or smoking weed, and it's like, that stuff doesn't matter. That stuff is gonna set you all the way back and might prevent you from hitting your goal. So I would say focus. I mean, I know this is the typical old guy thing. Focus on the books. Make sure you're studying, but you know, focus on what you love and what lights you up, and enhance that. Because I don't work a day in my life. I do. You know, restaurant is a very stressful job, but I love what I do. I get to go to farms and like see what vegetables I'm able to use, and meet dairy farmers and chicken farmers. It's a fun job. I love what I do. But you know, really don't worry so much about your phones and the TikTok and all that stuff, and like what's cool and popular, because you know what's cool and popular when you're 18 is not going to be what's cool and popular when you're 28, and you just robbed yourself of that time where you could have been focusing on you and your goals and what you're good at, and being the best version of yourself. And some of the people that didn't follow that route, they're going to be entry level still. As an adult, you know, you want to have a house and a family, and be able to go on vacation and stuff. You don't want to be stuck working minimum wage for, you know, so you really got to just find that discipline, and just buckle down, do that long, boring, hard work like your dad says, and you know, but you can enjoy that long, it doesn't have to be boring, you know, it can be long, hard work. You can enjoy it, you know, find the best of it, scrubbing dishes, you know.
So how are you able to snap out of that rut yourself?
You know, for me, I think, you know, my wife had a big part of that. You know, showing love and kindness and compassion. When I had my son, I had my son 2 years ago. That just opened up my eyes to a whole new world. You know, when you have a child, it just nothing else is as important as it used to be. And the older you get, you realize that this time here is only a very short period of time, and time flies. So once you get out of high school, the years just start flying by. You know, it just starts flying by, and you want to enjoy it. And you don't want to, I don't want to be numbed all the time. I want to do things. I don't want to be intoxicated by 6 o'clock. I want to be out looking at things, enjoying myself, listening to music, So
What advice would you give to a young 18-year-old that wants to own their own business?
make sure it's a business that really lights you up. It's something that you could see yourself doing for the next 30 years. Because there's no point in doing something that you're gonna get tired of in 3 years, and then you're invested, and then you could lose money, you could lose time. Again, is the most valuable thing. Make sure it's something that lights you up, that you actually have gifts in. It's a gift of yours, because we have all different gifts. That's why this world is such an awesome place, so unique. Everybody has their own talents and their own attributions to the world. So just make sure it's something that makes sense before you dive head over heels into something, put all your eggs in the basket, and work hard for it and try to be the best that you can be.
So how are you able to stay consistent with trying to be the best that you can be?
That's where, once you get past the mentor stage, you have a group of people that kind of hold each other accountable, accountability friends, you know what I mean? And they say you are the company you keep. I'm not 100% believer in that, but there is some truth behind that. If you're hanging out with a bunch of guys that just want to run around the streets and go to parties and all that stuff, you're going to be more apt to mimic that behavior. Whereas if you have friends that want to do podcasts and film, you're going to be more apt to advance in that aspect of life. So you want to find a good core group of people that are good, honest people, and hold each other accountable, and talk about your goals, talk about your struggles, talk about your difficulties. Because again, your friend might have a different outlook and see something differently than you do, and help you figure out a problem that you thought was unsolvable, and they thought of it just like this, because everyone's brain is wired differently.
So how are you able to find those friends and the right group of people?
Networking.
Network.
Networking, you meet, as the years go on, I know so many people, you meet so many people, and it's just, be outgoing. Don't be nervous to talk to people, because at the end of the day, you never know if you don't speak up. Just like I said, to find a mentor, you need to show, you have to shine, let yourself be noticed, so you'll find them, but you want to hold on to the positive ones.
So when you're networking and finding people, like, what are some things that you look for in people that are like, yeah, this is the type of person that I want to work with?
I look for to be honest with you, I look for their personality and their energy. I love quoting your dad, because he inspires me. The sucker bucket, that right there, I love that, because it's like you're gonna come across people. I look for positive energy, people that lift you up and give you hope and like excitement. You know what I mean? Because like I would say 90% of the people in this world aren't suckers. And out of those 90, I would say half of them are like that positive energy. So there's nothing worse than waking up and being in a great mood, and then you come to work and somebody's just miserable to be at work today because it's Monday and it's rainy out. The negative energy will pull you down quicker than you realize you're even in it. So I like to keep my circle all positive people, people that have ambitions to grow. But you can notice, you'll pay attention. The more people you meet, the older you get, it'll be easier to notice people of light, that are trying to be, rather than causing chaos in the world, they're trying to cause hope and light. Those are the people, and they're not hard to find. They're everywhere.
So let's say on a day that maybe somebody's like normally positive and like they're a good person, like they come in and have like a rough day. How are you able to build them up?
So that's the thing, because everybody's a human. I'm a human. I'm not just smiling and happy every day. Stuff happens that we don't have any control of, because honestly, you have to realize that we don't have control of very much of anything. You are in control of your actions, but you have no control of the consequences, if that makes sense to you. So a day like that, where somebody could be in a bad mood or something happened, a dog could have died or something, and that's the thing, that if you're surrounded with people of light, you're gonna notice that, and you're gonna uplift them and try to help step in where they're missing that void, and be that shoulder to lean on, and that's important, very important. Good question.
So as a leader, how are you able to build a team that works for you?
Again, that positive energy. I treat people. I love all my staff. Any of my staff, if something happened where they needed $1,000 because something on their car broke, they know that they can come to me and ask me. But it's not even just about money. It's about just like courtesy and asking people, how you doing today? Because like you said, you never know what somebody's going through. So just you showing just a little bit of courtesy or just like, nice to see you. Like, you know what I mean? That could change somebody's day, week, month, year, eternity. So always be kind, you know, because you can always help other people and it comes back. You know, they come back when you need them and they give you that love and energy. So that's why you notice those people and you keep them tight and close by.
So when you're like filtering out the people that like in your sucker bucket versus people that you like what is like your main thing that you notice about people that are like, yeah, I want to work with versus the suckers? Like, what's the main thing that you notice?
It's the way they carry themselves. You know, you can they look at, you know, it's, you know, the glass half full versus the half glass empty. They look at the positives in life because, you know, there's positive and negative energy everywhere. You know, so, you know, they carry themselves in that way, and you can just tell by an opening conversation. You can tell in their body expression, you know, their facial expression, the way they're engaging and looking you in the eyes versus like not really paying attention. That's how I notice.
I know you're a leader and you like have own your own business. Like, what is your hardest challenge that you had to face so far?
So May 1st, I closed a restaurant in Springfield, Jackalope. So that was probably the hardest, you know, thing I had to do. I lost a lot of money, set myself back here because I had to bail that restaurant out with this restaurant, so I tapped this out a little bit. But you know, that was the hardest thing. But I have to honestly say I'm proud of myself that I didn't get down too much about it. You know, it happens. It was out of my control, and it is what it is. So instead of looking at it like, oh, I failed and letting it hurt my ego, it is what it is. You know, for the negative of it, you know, I had to close. I lost money, financial, but money comes. Time. You know, I spent 2 years, and that was the hardest part. But on the flip side, it wasn't a waste. It happened for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. I got linked in with the Follow My Steps group. I got linked in with your father. You know, I'm able to speak in front of kids now. I get to go talk to kids and share my story, and that's more valuable than money to me. So, you know, that was the hardest thing I've recently gone through, but, you know, everything's okay.
So you said you like to, you know, help kids. So like, why is that important to you?
Because somebody did it for me. You know, I grew up in a at-risk environment where I could have been in jail or not alive, and I did a lot of risky things, and um, I just want kids to know that like I said to you, that being cool in high school is not the cool thing to do. Like, being cool because you're a good person and you're helping people and you got that charisma, that's cool. But I know there's kids that grew up worse than I did, that didn't get hugs, and you know they didn't have like inspirational parents. Their parents were depressed or on substances, and I want to let them know that they're created in love and they are loved, and they are worth more than they could possibly imagine.
So for those kids, like, what's like some advice you get to them to be able to help make sure that they're able to just like push forward, like through like the hard times of their life?
I'm telling you, try to get involved with groups, try to get involved with youth outreach groups and after school programs. Pay attention in school if there's any kind of events going on, because you have to be proactive. Nobody's going to come and pluck you out and be like, oh, I think you're hurting, I think you could use some help. That's not the way the world is, unfortunately. I wish it was that way. And that is the, you know, guidance counselors and stuff like that. But, you know, just know you're worth more, you know.
So, owner a business, how are you able to balance work with family?
It kind of just flows, man. Like, you do that long, hard, boring work, and then you surround yourself with a group of rock stars that can do the job without you here, and appreciate them and love them like your family, because that's how I do look at them. And things just flow. You know, like my kitchen staff here has been, I've had the same kitchen staff, and I'm going on 5 years here, open here, had the same kitchen staff for 5 years. These guys are the best in the town, maybe the state, in my opinion, the world, in my opinion, you know. But they handle things and they know the way I like it, and it's consistent. Consistency is key to any business.
So how are you able to stay consistent?
You know, you put your trust and responsibility upon your people, but you have to have constant checks and balances. You could look at my clipboard over there. You know, I have like 4 pages of to-do lists of Excel, and I delegate things, you know. But then you have to follow up and make sure it's getting done. But you also have to feed your employees that positive energy and keep them excited, because nobody wants to come to work to do the same. Nobody wants to be a robot. Robots are robots and people are people. Nobody wants to do the same thing every day. So you know, keep them excited, keep making specials. I go to the farm and I come back with like this glorious produce and vegetables, and look at this seafood we just got in, this fish that we've never seen before. Look how cool it is, and just taste it. And you know, that's the thing. I love what I do, so like I carry that energy and that excitement with me to keep them excited and give them challenges and teach them.
So I can tell you're very passionate about what you do. It's like, how are you able to stay passionate? Like,
mental health, my friend. Mental health. You know, prayer. I try to take little points in the day where I just shut my phone off, and you know, I have an office off-site in Thorns Market, so I go up in there, shut the door, shut my phone off, get creative. Have your creative space, have some creative outlets. Exercise is great, prayer is great. You know, you just get, it's a balance. You definitely have to balance things.
So for my last question, I'm going to ask you, what is like a fun fact about you that nobody really knows?
That I love that canned cheese sauce. That's probably it. The French fries and the tortilla chips, the queso sauce. Don't tell. I just told everybody. I like canned cheese sauce.
Well, guys, thank you for watching this episode with Andrew Brow today. I really do. Thank you for coming and spending your time.
And good luck. Your inspiration too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Peace.